we go. Leclerc comes set. Here's the pitch. And there's a ground ball to second. Semien has it on to first, and the Rangers are going to the World Series for the first time since 2011. What a season for the Texas Rangers. All of the moves they have made in the last couple of years have led them to this point. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Nathan Eovaldi, even Max Scherzer, Jordan Montgomery. Everything has led to this point, including Aroldis Chapman, Adolis Garcia, who they picked up a few years ago. It has all culminated to the Rangers, led by, I think, their biggest acquisition, Bruce Bochy, heading back to the World Series for the first time in 12 years. This is a really good Rangers team, everyone. A very good Rangers team. And listen, everyone. I did say this last night. I think I need to go with my gut a little bit more when it comes to making predictions, because my gut told me the Rangers were winning this series. My gut told me coming into Game 7 last night, despite the Astros being at home, the Rangers were winning Game 7. That was just what my gut said. There was just something about this Rangers team. There's like this mystique that floats around a team, and there was something about the Rangers heading into a Game 7. I felt very confident about that team. The Astros, I just didn't for some reason. It just felt like the Rangers had a little bit more juice. There was a little bit more juice to squeeze. And here they go, off to the World Series. What an amazing team this is. And, just my immediate reaction to everything. This team is so talented. There's just talent all over the place. Whether it's players that they've drafted, players that they've signed, players that they've traded for. I mean, this team, the offense was off the charts this year. It was a bludgeoning offense, especially in the first half of the season. They were beating the crap out of everyone they went up against. Everyone. They were so good with the bats. Even in the second half, sure, they had run into a couple of slumps here and there, but this offense is no joke. And coming into this postseason, I thought if there is one team that could bash their way to a World Series, it is the Texas Rangers. It is the Texas Rangers at the end of the day. It's kind of just one of those teams where when you just look at the offense, it is just unbelievable how much these guys can hit. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien coming in, having amazing years for them this year, even despite Seager missing some time, right? Missed some time due to injury. But then you had Adolis Garcia just mashing yet again in this season and even in this postseason as well. But then on the pitching side of things, right? Even though you lost DeGrom, you still had the pitching staff really step up for them this year. Nathan Eovaldi ran into some bumps with injuries, but he was able to have himself a pretty solid season overall. Jordan Montgomery was a huge acquisition for them down the second half. You got Scherzer. He was more of the headline move, but Montgomery, the lesser move in the headlines, ended up being just such a key move for them. Came in tonight out of the bullpen, which I did see coming. I figured he was going to get a little bit of action here tonight because, you got to think he's going to be throwing a bullpen anyway. So it's like you might as well just have him come in today. There's just so many things about this Rangers team that was just so impressive all year. And then the bullpen, which was shaky, in the second half, but they got themselves together in September. If you look at the numbers, the bullpen for the Rangers was pretty solid at the end there. And so in the end, this Rangers team, when you just look at the talent everywhere, it's just such a good team, right? And they got stabilized at the right time, and the key for that was Bruce Bochy. And Bruce Bochy, to me, was, I think, the biggest acquisition that they made out of anything. I remember when they made that move, hiring him in the offseason. To me, sure, people were like, oh, he's been away from the game for a little bit. Is he going to be, is he going to have that same effect, right? To me, the presence that he brings, he won so many championships, even, with adversity. Go back to that 2014 Giants team. They won 88 games that year, right? Yeah, you had to ride Madison Bumgarner until basically his arm fell off. He threw more than 50 innings in that postseason. Unbelievable postseason he had. But he just figured it out in that postseason in 2014. Go back to 2010, 2012. This is a guy that he just knows how to stay calm under the pressure. He made some really good moves, some good managerial moves in this postseason. I think he handled the bullpen extremely well. He didn't lean on analytics so much. He showed just some good feel, some good overall feel in this series and just in this postseason as well. Sticking with a guy maybe a little bit more or getting a guy out of there pretty quickly, right? We saw that with Scherzer tonight. He did not let Scherzer go any further into this game. He pulled him at just the right time. It ended up being key. That, to me, was just such a massive move. And he made so many good moves in this series, right? Letting Nathan Eovaldi go out for a little longer in his Game 6 start, right? Because, that's what a good manager does. Like, he leans on the numbers. He leans on the analytics, but he also just goes with the feel as well. And it's so refreshing to see something like that. So refreshing, right? Because you've seen all these managers, when they make all these analytical-based moves, it just feels like it comes back and it bites them, right? It's good to lean on the numbers, but you also have to have the right touch as well. And that's what Bruce Bochy has, and that's why I think he has been the key for this Rangers team all year. Before I go any further, everyone, if you can, smash that like button for me. That would be greatly appreciated. If you are new in the chat, subscribe if you are new. We're talking baseball here all the time, especially with the World Series coming up, especially with the offseason coming up. And also, everyone, it does help with the algorithm as well. I know that's like super annoying to say, but it is what it is at the end of the day. When we had a good stream last week, a lot of you hit that like button, and it really helped in the algorithm. My goodness, that was a great stream that we had, and I think all of you hitting that button really was key. But let's get back to this here. Let's get back to it. So let's get the box scores up here. So, again, I think taking Scherzer out tonight was just a massive key in this game. I think if you had kept with him any longer, I think you were asking for some trouble, and he just went out there and he got him. He didn't even get him a full 3 innings. And this is what I said last night about Scherzer. This is what I said, where if you got at least a couple of innings out of Scherzer, I think you were going to be okay. And if he got out of there unscathed, that was fine. You needed at least something out of Scherzer. You needed a couple of innings because you knew the rest of these guys could step in and they could come in and they could hold down the fort. You knew Montgomery was going to come in at some point in this game. At least I thought he was going to be coming in at some point in this game, especially if Scherzer wasn't able to get through, at least like a 3 or 4 innings, right? So in the end, this is exactly kind of how I saw it playing out, right? Scherzer giving you 2 2/3. I was pretty much saying last night, 2-3 innings. If you can get that from Scherzer and he keeps the damage minimal, I think you have a shot. And what I liked about that move was he didn't let the Astros regain that momentum. That was just the big key, right? Baseball, a lot of the times, especially in the postseason, it's a momentum battle, right? And you got to stop the other team from getting hot. It's not just about, you scoring all the runs or you preventing all the runs. It's just knowing when to halt the momentum at the right time and making the right moves at the right time, pushing the right buttons at the right time. To me, I just think Bochy has managed in this postseason extremely well, and he's just has a good feel for his team. He has a good feel for his players. Everyone just seems to be on the right page, right? Even when these guys haven't been at their best, they've had other guys step up, and that's why this offense is so good. But even on the pitching side of things, right, you had Scherzer really just blow it in Game 3. It was an awful start. That's where maybe Bochy, if there was one thing he did, maybe leaving Scherzer in a little too long in that game, but he learned his lesson here in Game 7. He did not even go any further with Scherzer, and I think he really learned his lesson from Game 3 there. In the end, for me, the ALCS MVP, I mean, I think it's got to be Adolis Garcia. This guy's phenomenal. What, 15 RBIs in a single series? He went 4 for 5 tonight, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. This guy's out of his freaking mind. Like, are you kidding me right now? I mean, hitting .327 this postseason, a 1.102 OPS, that is just off the charts. It's off the charts. What else is there to say? Give credit to Corey Seager tonight, getting it going in the early going. You're kind of waiting for Corey Seager to really bust through with something. It felt like he was having good at-bats. He had a lot of aggressive at-bats. He was productive at times in this series. He's been pretty much very productive this entire postseason, hitting .333, a 1.127 OPS. But it just felt like in this series, felt like you could have gotten something a little bit more out of him. And he finally came through tonight. And I've used this phrase several times. He really set the tone. Really set the tone. And or setting the tone. And Seager set the tone tonight. I think just getting started in the right way, halting the momentum at the right time. I just think that to me, these guys, they're playing together, right? They know their assignments. They know what they got to do up there. And they just got a guy leading them that everyone respects him. And everything is just working with this Rangers team right now. I remember coming into this postseason, you didn't know what this Rangers team was going to do. I had them losing to the Rays, and shame on me. I should have known better. The one thing about this Rangers team is, sure, maybe some numbers didn't look all that great for them, but they got a group of guys that are just ball players, right? Don't care about the numbers too much. They just want to come out here, and they just want to beat the crap out of you, right? They just want to beat you to the ground because they can do it, right? They just want to show what they can do. It's just when I look at this Rangers team, you just got a lot of gritty players with mixing in veteran guys, younger guys, superstars. They just have a good mix of players on this team, and they just seem together. It's just a great team. And, coming into the postseason, you really weren't sure what they were going to be. I thought that Rays team, being at home, I thought they could, the Rays also look good coming into the year. But at the end of the day, a star-studded team like the Rangers, with the talent that they have, we should have known that, with this Rays team where they lean so heavily on the analytics, sure, they look good in the regular season, but when it comes to postseason ball, the cream rises to the top. And this Rangers team, they got a lot of cream on it. I'm just saying. That might sound a little weird. But, also give credit tonight to Garver, Lowe. Hey, staying steady. It's not just about the superstars. It's not just about Corey Seager. Adolis Garcia is basically turning into a superstar in this postseason. But you're having the other guys staying steady, right? Still providing that offense as well. Everything was just clicking tonight for the Rangers. And right now, they're a dangerous team heading into this World Series. We don't know who they're going to play. Are they going to be up against the Diamondbacks? Are they going to be up against the Phillies? We'll find out tomorrow. But I think this Rangers team, they're extremely dangerous, no matter who they go up against, right? Because they did go up against some good pitching in this series. And let's talk about the Astros. Let's talk about the Astros here. Hey, at some point, this Astros team, listen, Father Time always wins. Father Time is undefeated, and there's a time where, this Astros team, they're not going to win every single year. And, there have been a couple of years in the past where it's like, okay, is this maybe the year they finally get knocked out? And then last year, they just went on an incredible run, and they just got it done and won it all. Made the World Series the year before that. 2020 was a weird year. They still were one win away from the World Series that year, but whatever. You can forget that one if you want. 2019. Honestly, that team was extremely good in 2019. But this Rangers team had something that the Astros didn't, in my opinion. They just had a little more juice. There's just a little more oomph to this Rangers team. And the Astros, I think in the end, I actually think Framber Valdez, I personally think that dude was just gassed. He's thrown so many innings over how many years now? How many innings did he throw last year? He was so dominant in that postseason last year. A lot of innings this year. Just seemed like the guy was honestly just battling fatigue, battling maybe some mechanical issues as well, battling command. And Valdez, I think, was, honestly was the key here. And I think that was the fact that he couldn't really be as effective as we had seen him in the past, I think was the deciding factor, in my opinion. Go to his first start in the series. Did not look good. Pitching game 6. Wasn't bad, but, wasn't as good as we've seen him before. That, to me, I just think the Rangers just had a little bit more. And the Astros, I think, give them all the credit, man. This Astros team, they're good. And in the end, sometimes it just catches up to you, and they can't stay on top forever. Now, we'll have to see what happens with the Astros in the offseason, and that's actually something I do want to take a look at real quick. So taking a look here, let's go to the Astros payroll. I'm going to move on to the Diamondbacks and the Phillies in just a moment. Everyone, while I'm pulling this up, if you can, smash the like button for me. It really does help. I do see a super chat coming in. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But if we take a look at the payroll here for the Astros, they're still going to have a lot of their guys. I would imagine Justin Verlander is going to be good to go for next year. Honestly, I know. And then in 2025, that's after next year, but he's got the player option. So I think he's going to be fine for next year. I don't see anything going on there. But they still have a lot of guys under contract for next year. The only guy is Hector Neris. He's got a club option, though. They got a lot of guys. They're going to be getting some raises in arbitration, most likely. Honestly, this Astros team is still pretty set for next year. So I wonder if maybe they add a little bit more depth in the rotation. I wonder if that's a possibility. There were times with the Astros this year where we felt like that offense wasn't clicking as much as it could have. Remember, go back to, around the All-Star break. They were kind of in the middle when it came to where they ranked in offense, right? WRC plus. They were always like kind of 15th, 16th. They got it going towards the end of the year. But I wonder if maybe there could be maybe a possible upgrade somewhere in this lineup. Maybe add another bat. You did, and I think Abreu too. Abreu did heat up in this postseason, so I can't really take that away from him. But I think with Abreu, I would like to see a little bit more consistency from him next year. Not a great season overall for him, but in the end, this is a good Astros team, and they just lost to a Rangers team that's hungry. There's really not much else to say. I think maybe a little bit more depth possibly in this rotation, I think could have helped. Like Javier was not very consistent this year. He didn't look very good tonight. He got pulled early, so that was definitely a key for tonight's game. Going back to that box score over here, he came out rather quickly. Didn't even make it out of the first inning. That's another thing, and maybe I'll talk about that too. Dusty Baker, I guess you could pretty much say, Javier, he was getting hit around quite a bit. So I can understand maybe pulling him. I think, but it's also, I understand why he left France in as long as he did, because it's like, you already went through Maton, Brown, I don't know. I feel like maybe you could have stuck with Brown a little bit more, but France, I feel like he was just left in too long, and I feel like, the damage had already been done, and he was just trying to get as much as he could out of him at that point. That's where I think the game was lost. I think when France came in, I think it was just over at that point. And when they were bleeding, man, you just couldn't stop the bleeding, and France just didn't have it. These guys just weren't ready, but honestly, I give credit to the Rangers. These guys just came out bashing tonight, right? They had a game plan. They were aggressive. They were attacking. Hey, give the Rangers credit. In the end, the Astros were a really good team here, but the Rangers, I think, just had a little bit more. And, could we also look at the whole home and away thing? The Astros looked amazing on the road. Is there really some, I don't know what it is, man, because this Rangers team puts up 11 runs here in Houston. Well, what's going on with the Astros? Why are they not hitting at home? Like, why are they just losing these games at home? So, I don't know what it is, honestly. In the end, I'm just going to look at it as the Rangers, I think, just had a little bit more talent here. I really do think that's all it is, right? But in the end, this Rangers team, just, sure, they had their bumps in the second half of the year, but we all know what this Rangers team was capable of. A lot of people, myself, picked the Rays to knock them out in the wild card round. And in the end, this Rangers team, it just goes to show when you have this much talent on the team and you just make the postseason, you are very capable of making it to a World Series. No matter where you finish in the standings, the cream always rises to the top. So, congratulations here to the Rangers. What else is there to say? I think they got a great shot in the World Series, either up against the Diamondbacks or the Phillies. I do like them a little bit more against the Diamondbacks. That Phillies pitching is really good. We'll talk about that in just a little bit with Aaron Nola. But either way, I think either matchup is going to be tough because that Diamondbacks team, they're just tough to beat. They're hard to put down. The Phillies just have so much talent. I mean, the more star-studded matchup would be the Rangers and the Phillies. But the Diamondbacks would be a tough team too. The Diamondbacks, they have many come-from-behind wins. They're tough to beat. They're tough to put down. Their hitters are just, they're tough at bats, 1 through 9, right? The pitching, they got very talented pitchers on that team. So I'm not going to, sure, maybe the Phillies could be a slightly tougher matchup, but I think the Diamondbacks too, they just play everyone hard, right? So no matter what, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for the Rangers either way. But with this offense, I don't know. It's hard to pick against this offense right now, but they are going to have to keep pitching. You're going to have Eovaldi, Montgomery. You're going to have those guys keep on coming through. That's going to be, against the Phillies, yeah, those are going to be some tough matchups there. Diamondbacks, those are going to be some tough matchups. This Diamondbacks offense, they look pretty good. But the Rangers, I think another key for them is Max Scherzer. Can you get anything more out of Max Scherzer? That's what I worry about. When you're this late into the game, when you're this deep into the postseason, I think you got to get a little bit more out of your starters, right? They got games 1 and 2 set with Eovaldi and Montgomery. They have that set. But you got to get a little more something in that game 3, all right? I know the Rangers, they showed here that, they got by the Astros. But if you're going up against Wheeler, Nola, Suarez in the Phillies, or Gallen and Kelly and Sewald at the back end of that bullpen, and, I think the Rangers really need to get a little bit more out of Scherzer if you can, personally. But they have shown that they can do it with just Montgomery and Eovaldi. So let's get here to the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. And again, Rangers fans, unbelievable. I couldn't be happier for you. So let's talk about the Diamondbacks and the Phillies here. So did I just say Diamondbacks and Rangers a second ago? I don't know what I'm saying. Diamondbacks and the Phillies. And hey, the best 2 words in all of sports. That's not 2 words. Game 7. Another Game 7. I am so stoked to see this Game 7 because honestly, I think we all thought the Phillies were going to be winning Game 6. I think most people had their money on the Phillies closing this out in 6 games. And here are the Diamondbacks once again showing how tough of a team that they are. And they took it to Nola today, who has been having a good postseason. They came out swinging, man. The offense, to me, I'll get to Merrill Kelly in just a second, but I think the offense for the Diamondbacks today was the story because they got it started right off the bat, right? Pham, Gurriel with the back-to-back homers. That gave the Diamondbacks just energy right off the bat. They came out swinging. Longoria had the double. Marsh on the Phillies was able to answer there to try and get some momentum going. I'll get to that situation in just a little bit. But Ketel Marte, he kept it going with a triple. Had a base hit later on. Got the 5th run scored. But, Ketel Marte, look at Ketel Marte hitting 375 with a 1.025 OPS this postseason. Honestly, this Diamondbacks lineup is just looking really good. And there's not much else to say. They just came out swinging here, and they set the tone. I hate saying that over and over, but they set the tone here. I love that Tommy Pham, a big pickup for them. I don't think he was the most, star-studded pickup at the trade deadline, but, solid pickup for them. And I love that he's coming through in this series in a Game 6 situation. I love that. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., another pickup for them, right? Look at Gabriel Moreno. Gabriel Moreno has been having a fantastic postseason. Look at all these acquisitions coming through for the Diamondbacks. Gabriel Moreno coming through with home runs in this postseason, throwing guys out on the bases. I mean, come on. The Diamondbacks, all of these pickups they've been making, they've all been paying off, and it's really great to see. But a lot of credit to the offense tonight. That, to me, gave Merrill Kelly the comfort that he needed. You'd think, was Merrill Kelly going to be able to silence that crowd? In the end, the offense silenced the crowd, and he just kept it going. He pitched a great game. Not a long game by any means, 5 innings, but he only gave up an earned run, 8 strikeouts. Now, the Phillies, they had their chances early. They were down 3-0. Brandon Marsh, he had the RBI base hit. But after that, you had no outs, you had runners on, and you couldn't get anything else going. Right, so the Phillies, they lost their chance there, and Kelly, I give credit to him. He really buckled down in that situation, made good pitches, stuck to the game plan, and it came through. They had 2 on at the bottom of the first. They couldn't get anything going. The Phillies had their chances here, especially early, but once Kelly settled in, once the offense just gave him the support that he needed early on, the Diamondbacks didn't look back. All right, Aaron Nola came back down to earth. And, we've seen this from Aaron Nola this year. We're wondering, how long is Aaron Nola going to keep this going? All right, he's having a great postseason. We're thinking, all right, is he going to keep this going? He's settling in. But here we go. The Diamondbacks came out firing. Nola, an uninspiring start today. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 earned, 4 Ks, the 2 home runs allowed, the back-to-back homers. Nola didn't look great today. Now, the bullpen, they definitely stepped up here. Kirkering, did give up the 2 hits and the run, but, Kimbrel, he looked pretty good today. Give credit to him. Soto looked pretty good. So, Lorenzen, he came in. So, we're just going to have to wait and see how this goes for the Phillies. I think in the end, the Diamondbacks, they just, as simple as it sounds, they just played a better baseball game today. They pitched better. They hit better. In the end, hey, they took advantage. Now, Game 7. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Game 7. This is going to be a really interesting matchup. Now, again, you would think that the Phillies should win Game 7. You would think they should. But do we maybe have something with this Diamondbacks team? Do we have something? Why is MLB.com not working right now? Goodness gracious, MLB.com. We are live. Everyone. Everyone, smash the crap out of that like button. I hate saying it over and over again, but I need your help. I'm telling you, you've been hitting the like button, and we're getting more people coming on in. It really does help. We're almost at 100 likes, and look at all the people. I'm telling you, YouTube likes that button. And if anyone's new, subscribe if you are new. Here we go. This is a really interesting pitching matchup for me. Very interesting matchup. How do I even explain this matchup? You got Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. And who would have thought Ranger Suarez would be Mr. October on the mound? Like, this guy has been unbelievable in October. I mean, look at the numbers right there in front of your face. 1-0, a 0.64 ERA, but that's only for this postseason. I mean, my goodness. This guy in the postseason has been phenomenal in his career. He has 8 games, 6 games started, 28 2/3 innings pitched, right? He has, I made a goofy goof. He has a 0.64 ERA this postseason, but in his career, he has a 0.94 ERA. Like, those are just stupid numbers. There's something that, like, Ranger Suarez, he's just got that it factor about him, man. I don't know. They just can't hit him in the postseason. I don't know what it is. But then, for the Diamondbacks, you got rookie Brandon Pfaadt, and he looked really good his last time out. Remember, everyone was freaking out. Oh, why did you pull Brandon Pfaadt? Why did you pull him? Right? Because he was looking so good. And Lovello, he came out, and he took him out, and he was looking really good. And people are like, why? Why would you do this? But we saw what he's capable of. I think the biggest thing for Brandon Pfaadt, I think the biggest key for him, man, what I think you could go a couple of different ways here. Should maybe you change your approach from what you did in Game 1, right, where he definitely leaned on the fastball, definitely led with the fastball? Or do you kind of just go with what is feeling right? Or just go based off feel? Don't try to think too much out there. Whatever's feeling good, go with that, right? Don't overthink it. That's what I think, honestly. If the fastball is feeling good, stick with the fastball, right? I'm just wondering if the Phillies, against a rookie pitcher in Game 7, I worry that the Phillies will make the adjustments necessary. But with Brandon Pfaadt, what I'm saying is go with what feels right, because you just want to have your best stuff, right? Even if that means you got to lead with some of your secondary pitches. If those are feeling good warming up, go with those, right? To me, you need your best stuff against this Phillies team in Game 7, all right? Because they have seen your stuff here, but I think you need to throw them off any way you can, right? And to me, I think you need to start with, again, go with what feels right. That's just my opinion personally. You're already in Major League Baseball. You're a rookie, but now you're a rookie in Major League Baseball in Game 7 with a chance to go to the World Series. That, to me, that's pretty incredible when you really think about it, right? How many times have we had a situation like this? So I'm just saying, Pfaadt has the stuff to get it done, but I just wonder if the Phillies are going to make enough adjustments, right? Or I'm not worrying if they're going to make the adjustments. I just worry for his sake that the Phillies, they might just be too good, and they find a way to get some hits and some runs off of him. But if his stuff is good, this could be trouble for the Phillies. This could be trouble. It could go either way, honestly. Ranger Suarez, are the Diamondbacks going to figure him out? It seems like no team can figure out Ranger Suarez. They got to figure him out. He's got some pretty decent stuff, man. He locates. He mixes and matches. He throws all over the zone. And man, Suarez is good, It's going to be a great matchup, in my opinion. Not the most star-studded pitching matchup you'll ever see, but I think it's a pretty solid one. I think you could see the bullpens come in very early in this one. I think you could see the bullpens by the 4th inning because it's Game 7. No one wants to take any chances. I could absolutely see Brandon Pfaadt coming out. I mean, if Lovello took him out early in his first start, I could see Pfaadt being taken out, who knows, maybe even like the 3rd inning. I could possibly see that. Ranger Suarez, he has come out early in his starts. So I could see him coming out early as well. In the end, which team is going to execute the most? The Diamondbacks, they're going to play tooth and nail till the end. The Phillies, they're just going to have to play what they've been playing all year. Good offense, waiting for their pitches, professional at-bats, attack when you see that chance, right? The Phillies are one of those teams where they just have good hitters all over the place, right? That's why I'm saying with Pfaadt, I hope for his sake he has his best stuff, right? Because this Phillies team, you know these guys are going to be ready for Game 7. They're going to be ready. They're going to be locked in. Harper's going to be locked in. Castellanos, Turner, Schwarber's been locked in. They're going to be tough to beat. But if Pfaadt has his good stuff, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Personally, I don't know, man. My gut tells me the Rangers are going to end up playing the Phillies. My gut tells me that. And I know maybe this is a bit of a cop-out here, but I am still leaving open the possibility for the Diamondbacks because they are just such a tough team to put away. My gut says Phillies. Part of my gut says the Diamondbacks could shock you. I don't know. I will go Phillies, though. I'll go Phillies in 7. I think it'll be a hard-fought battle. I think the Diamondbacks make it until the bitter end. In the end, I think the Phillies just have a little bit too much, and they find a way to put the Diamondbacks away. We got some super chats coming in. A couple super chats. Let me get to those. I think we got 2 of them coming in. What do we got here? Chess Red Eagle with a $5 super chat. Getting to the World Series 2 years after a 100-loss season. Amazing. Getting to the World Series by defeating our nemesis. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I mean, it is pretty awesome, right? When you beat your division rival, when you just beat them in that American League Championship Series in 7 games, it's so satisfying. It really is. And this is coming from a guy that watched the Red Sox beat the Yankees in 7 games in 2004. All right, to 2018 in the division round as well. It's very satisfying. I do not blame you at all for feeling that way. Chess Red Eagle, congrats on your Rangers, my friend. Exton Stone, $20 super chat. You are amazing, my friend. Chess Red Eagle, you're amazing as well. Thank you so much. Also, Anthony B., thank you for becoming a member as well. I just noticed that. Thank you very much. If anyone is interested in becoming a member, hey, go check it out. I got a few different tiers. But Exton Stone, $20 super chat. For the Phillies tomorrow night, their first Game 7 will either be the highest of highs or the night of the living dead. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it really could go either way. Let's actually go take a look-see at the playoff odds. Now, I did say that that they had the odds wrong. They had Framber Valdez and the Astros winning Game 6, and I just said, absolutely not. They're not winning Game 6. I knew the Rangers were going to win Game 6 with Nathan Eovaldi. But for tomorrow, they are giving the edge to the Phillies, 53.2% for Ranger Suarez and the Phillies, 46.8% for the Diamondbacks. It's going to be interesting. Can you imagine this Diamondbacks team just shocking the world? How crazy would that be? Because I think we could all say in the National League, the Phillies have been the story of the National League, right? They've just been that team, that most eventful team. And sure, the Diamondbacks are fighting and whatnot, but I feel like the Phillies are grabbing more of the headlines. I mean, how crazy would that be? How hilarious would that be? The Phillies get knocked out, right, after having so many moments in this postseason, and they just look so good in this postseason. Like, that to me would be just crazy if the Phillies lost. I think Major League Baseball, I think they want the Phillies. They want those ratings. I think Rangers-Phillies gives them the most ratings. But listen, I'm not going to be mad at the Diamondbacks making the World Series. I think they're a fun team. I think they're a very fun team to watch. I've been on the Diamondbacks train for the last couple of years. I've said that many times on this channel. I'm pretty sure people are just tired of me saying that. I have been a proud supporter of the Diamondbacks for the last couple of years. I've been the one to say, hey, look out for the Diamondbacks. Go to my video from the beginning of the year. Before the season started, I made a video called 5 teams that could shock the world. Or 5 MLB teams that could shock the world in 2023. I had the Rangers on there. I had the Diamondbacks on there. I think I had the Diamondbacks on there. I think I had like the Marlins on there, the Orioles. I think I had the Angels on there maybe. The Red Sox. I can't remember. But I do remember I had the Diamondbacks on there and the Rangers. So I'm just saying. I saw some potential with this Diamondbacks team this year. Sean, how you doing? $4.99 super chat. As a diehard Diamondbacks fan, I want the Diamondbacks to win so bad. But regardless, what an amazing season. Nobody has expected this. At the end of the day, this is a win. This is a win for the Diamondbacks. An absolute win, right? You made it to Game 7 of the world, of one win away from the World Series. What an accomplishment that is, especially for a team. A lot of people didn't even have the Diamondbacks making the playoffs this year. I did. I had the Diamondbacks winning the third wild card. That's probably one prediction I got right this year, right? So, to me, I think it's a huge accomplishment, with where they are. And they still have so many players coming up. It's going to be a good team for the next few years. The next 5 years, probably. They're going to be a great team. I'm excited. I would love to see him. I would love to see him get in. Per The Athletic, Dusty Baker not returning. Wow. Is that actually... Astros manager tells multiple people 2023 is his final season. Wow. That's some news. Let's actually pull this up here. And we do actually have some other news to talk about. And not a whole lot, I would say. But we do have some news. Here we go. All right, let's get to this. So let's go to... Oh, we even have an update on the Red Sox search. Goodness gracious. What is happening with my Red Sox? But let's get to... Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Ken Rosenthal reposting what The Athletic put. Just in, Dusty Baker has expressed to multiple inside and outside the Astros organization that 2023 will be his final season as manager. I mean, honestly, this guy has done everything he can. He finally won that World Series last year. I mean, what a career for Dusty Baker, man. Making it to multiple World Series, multiple championship series, multiple playoff appearances. Even played. He's had a 19-year career as a player, 26 years as a manager, 3-time manager of the year, 2-time World Series champion. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, wait, 2-time World Series? I don't know what I said, but winning it last year with the Astros, right? Dusty Baker, in my opinion, that the fact that he got that World Series will go down as, he will go down as one of the best managers of all time. I was always wondering, will Dusty Baker be that guy who, didn't win the big one, right? Remember, they made it with the Giants, a while back, 2002, I think Dusty Baker is going to go down as one of the best of all time, in my opinion. So if this is indeed his last year, I mean, honestly, it's like, what else can he do? What else can he do? Connor Gray, $4.99 Super Chat. How you doing? Cards fan here. Congrats, Rangers. Cheering for Monty and Garcia. Hated seeing Garcia DFA'd and Monty traded, but I guess Sagesi and Roby are okay returns. Yeah, I think for the Cardinals, that's going to be just better for them in the long run. Who knows? Maybe they could sign Montgomery back in the offseason. That'd be pretty cool, honestly. And what a pickup Adolis Garcia's been. Let's talk about Adolis Garcia here real quick. This guy's been just phenomenal. Look at this year that he had. 39 home runs, 107 RBIs. But look at this postseason. He's off the charts. 314 on the average, a 340 on base, a 1.026 OPS, 19 RBIs this postseason, setting the record for a single series with RBIs with 15. That's incredible. Unbelievable. Adolis Garcia, man. Adolis Garcia. Connor Gray, thank you for the super chat. But taking a look here at some other news, the Padres have given permission to Bob Melvin to interview for the Giants position. And I guess there was also something from Ken Rosenthal. He was actually talking today, and he actually said him and AJ Preller do not have a great relationship, and according to reports, that it is unfixable. I have said now for a little bit, I did a video on how to fix the Padres. I did mention there, I do think they need to go with something different in the manager role. I feel like there's some lack of connection there. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like, and again, I know they've had a ton of managers, and I do honestly think, I'm starting to think here, AJ Preller, is kind of part of the problem a little bit. I know he's made some amazing acquisitions, but at the end of the day, this team has just not been able to just get the job done, and they've had these superstar players, right? But they've also gone through so many managers, right? I do think if they are to go with a new manager, it needs to be someone that can connect with these players a little bit more, someone that will keep these players accountable, make sure that they are prepared, right? Like, you need a guy like almost like a Bruce Bochy, right? A guy that's going to be calm out there, but he's going to expect you to be prepared, and he's going to make you accountable, right? That's what I think. I think the Padres, they need a guy that they will connect with, but someone that will keep them on their toes, right? Keep them accountable as well. Get the most out of their players. They just need someone that's going to connect with those players a little bit more. So we have a little bit of news on Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Goodness, it's always a tongue twister every time I try to say it. But according to reports, Will Salmon of The Athletic is reporting that the Mets are one of many clubs that have reported interest in him. Now, Ken Rosenthal did write an interesting article a little while ago saying that a lot of Japanese players don't like being on the same team as other Japanese players, which when you really think about it, it kind of lines up. Like, we have seen these players, like, they don't tend to play with each other a lot. Remember how we've always made these connections? Or like, they got this player from Japan. Oh, that's going to be great. We can land him as well. But you don't ever really see it too much. I know there's been a couple of examples, right? But you don't see it a whole lot. It is interesting to think about. Is that an actual thing, right? So does that, maybe prevent him from going to the Mets? Maybe he kind of just wants to be his own guy. And one of the reasons he listed here was that players in Japan, it's in the article here, and I can actually go find it. Let me pull it up here. So in this article, it was stated that, let me actually do the higher. There it is. So it says here, some Japanese players are uncomfortable being major league teammates with other Japanese players because of the importance of seniority in Japan's hierarchical culture. Major league executives and agents say the relationship, and this is about Ohtani, the relationship between Senga and Ohtani, if one even exists, is not known. The Mets could always trade Senga if that was the part of the price for landing Ohtani. That's so odd. Like, you would think, like, what? These guys just won a World Baseball Classic together? But it is kind of interesting how you don't usually see these star players from Japan ever team up, right? So I wonder if that does come into play. But I would imagine, I don't know, man. You got two guys. Those two would basically, in my opinion, they would. If you look at the Mets, right? If you look at the rotation, right? Those would basically be the co-aces of the staff, right? So I wonder if they go after Yamamoto. I think it's going to be really interesting. But it also has been reported about Yamamoto that he does want to play in a big market. He does want to play in a small market. So I wonder, because the Yankees, sure, they're going to have interest, but, they have been spending a lot of money in the last couple of off seasons. I wonder if they pass on Yamamoto. If that is a thing, where Japanese players don't want to play with, especially high-profile Japanese players don't want to play with other high-profile Japanese players. Could that prevent the Mets? So, hey, does that leave the door open for my Red Sox? But then also you got Yoshida on the team. But that's like a hitter and a pitcher. I don't know. I feel like those are two separate things going on. So, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't prevent anything. And you got Seiya Suzuki on the Cubs, So it's like, I don't know, the whole Japanese, these players from Japan not wanting to play with each other. I don't know. It just sounds a little off to me. I don't know. But it's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up going. But yeah, I absolutely, of course, see the Mets making a run at Yamamoto. It's your boy, $4.99. How you doing, my friend? AJ Preller is a major problem for the Padres. Melvin is a good manager, but reports have exposed AJ for the control freak he is. He's overrated. Yeah, and it kind of makes me think now, he's gone through so many managers, and now he's giving permission for Bob Melvin to go interview with the Giants. This is kind of one of those things like AJ Preller, like, you're making all these moves, so let the manager manage, right? You're putting the team together. That's why I hate when the front office, when the front office and the manager have a good relationship, that's great, right? But a lot of times, it's like, just let the guy do the job, right? And so I wonder about that. AJ Preller going through multiple managers. Guy kind of says something to me a little bit where, guys don't want to be there, or he doesn't want guys there, or a little bit of both. And I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be forming these good relationships with the managers. So in the end, if this is what it is, but I have said this, I think AJ Preller, I have stated before that I do think, sure, he has made some moves, but I do think at the end of the day, he just hasn't really been able to put that team fully together, right? Because they have these studs on the team, but why can't they ever get past that point, right? Getting to the championship series last year, not making the playoffs this year. There is something going on in that organization. There is a disconnect somewhere. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But everyone, I'm out of here. I got to work in the morning. I am tired. Rangers fans, congratulations on Game 7. That is phenomenal. Always, it's always a pleasure watching this Rangers team. They've just been bashing the ever-living crap out of the ball, and it's just so fun to watch. They're going to be very tough in this World Series. We will be back here tomorrow night, everyone. We will be back here tomorrow night. But really quick, before I do get out of here, I do just want to go over tonight's sponsor, and that is Underdog Fantasy. The link is in the description down below. The promo code is HIDE. Use that at sign up, and you get a double on your first deposit up to $100. So right now, they have not listed any pick'ems for Major League Baseball for tomorrow, but they will at some point tomorrow. They got some basketball ones up right now. You got football going on right now. They got drafts, so you can do these daily drafts as well. I have been doing myself a few drafts. I have been leaning more towards the pick'ems lately, where you go higher or lower, choosing certain statistics. But the daily drafts are a lot of fun, and especially with basketball back, definitely take your chances. And of course, you know, we got football on the weekends, of course, and you also got hockey in here as well. So there's a lot here to choose from on Underdog Fantasy. One more time, the link is in the description down below. Make sure you use the code HIDE, so that way you get a double on your first deposit. Everyone, I'll be back here tomorrow night to talk Game 7 between the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. Make sure you are here. Make sure on the way out you hit that like button for us. Share the show. Make sure to hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. And subscribe if you are new. Everyone, I'm out of here. I'm going to bed. I'm starting to feel it. I'm tired. Have yourself a great night. I will see you all tomorrow night. And I'll talk to you next time.